Hello and good morning. Welcoming into the space of being. This presence of union, of light, within this vessel, contained and combined here in this now moment, within this space that you occupy. So often we are searching, we are looking, we are trying to find the light within us by searching outside of the self. And yet to know that even though there may be dysfunction, there may be confusion within the body, within the mind, know that the keys and the codes to this return are truly within your form. Within this body system. We are moving to a time and a space now within this reality where all must be anchored into the physical, through the physical. So more and more we are finding that as we seek external, we are feeling the conditions of this. We are feeling more deeply the effects of the outer influences. This is to say that the airwaves, the atmosphere is incredibly cluttered. A bit as if your tuner, the radio frequency, cannot quite tune in clearly to the signal. And so there's static, there's energy popping in and out. It's disturbing, frustrating. It can feel edgy, as if the nerves are being triggered and pinched and poked. Over the last several weeks, it has been a major shift, a major leveling out through the planes of the reality system in which we reside. You can imagine this as if we are within the locks of a dam system within a river, where we have to wait for the water to fill up before we can continue to the other side of our journey. And it may be that we did not even have a suspicion that there would be a break in the river. It was unexpected. And yet, quite a momentous undertaking. Although we find that we are equipped with all that we require for this shift and this transition. It is a great convergence at this point where we are able to merge all that we have gathered now through our journey, through our discovery of the etheric realms, combining this with our experience as a human. So all of these past moments within this time space, all of the experiences that we have lived, we are now merging, rewriting our script, what this has meant, where we are going forward with this now. So we would like to just take a few moments to clear through the fields. It is as if there has been a great arrival into the earth. And yet what it feels like as if the dirt, the dust, the debris that has been lying dormant within the earth has been kicked up. It feels a bit unsettling. It feels a bit as if we are in unknown territory, unknown lands. And yet we do not have to know the layout of the landscape. We do not even necessarily have to know the conditions of the atmosphere in which we have landed, because we are our own space within this atmosphere. Oftentimes we speak of our fields as being a sphere, its own planetary body, with its own rhythms, its own atmospheric conditions. And we would remind you to reset and restart your point of attraction every day so that you are tuning into your own internal source self as your point of origin. So dropping deep into your heart space, connecting deeply into the earth to find your still point, your point of stillness within yourself. We would even offer for you to notice the contradictions in what we hear in those outer realms, connecting into the 0 point. What is this? This is within. This is your internal still point, your point of origin from within your breath, within your heart space, where you acclimate to your own source, your own joy, your own stillness. It has always been internal to you. And yet these messages would suggest otherwise. So we wish to remind you to connect internal and to create your life from here. You emanate light. You emanate your life form from within, not the other way. Do not let the outer conditions, the outer atmospheres dictate your tone. It is an outward emanation of self, love, self-joy, self-recognition. This expression of your stillness, your center point. So notice even connecting in to the self in this way assists in clearing the debris and the distraction. We would like to anchor more fully. There is this sense, as we imagine the self as a sphere, that we are only forward facing. And the backside of our bodies, the backside of this sphere, if that were to exist, is within the shadows, is perhaps neglected. It is perhaps this energy of what I don't face, I cannot see, therefore I cannot and would not be responsible for what I cannot see in my own shadow. And yet we would argue that this is not perhaps the best stance, the best position from which to observe our own fields. And this seems to be part of what is occurring now within the energies, within this realm, is that there are those who are looking to march forward, to move forward, and whatever they may describe their awakening, their journey, and yet this forward focus without examining this other side of the self, it is a bit as if we are preparing to take off on a journey. Perhaps we are traveling with vehicles. Perhaps we have a trailer that we are hauling behind us. Would you not first examine the trailer, examine the hookup, examine the hitch, the brakes, the inner workings, to assure all is within right order? It would be incredibly foolish to start out on a journey without checking and maintaining our equipment and our vehicles. It is the same for the self. It is the same for this vessel. Through which your light is working. And so as we are looking forward, we are looking to the future, we are looking through the eyes of Source. We are hopeful, expectant. And yet let us allow now for the light of Source to also not shine just in front of us and a bit to the sides, but to surround us fully, to reveal what was hiding within the shadows behind us. We can imagine as if the sun is starting to peek out from behind the clouds, starting to warm our backs. And where perhaps we once hunched over, pulled the collar closer around our necks, to keep out the cold breeze, to ward off the shadows and the darkness. We can allow our shoulders to drop. And start to relax as the heart begins to open through the right side of the body, as the right side of the body starts to release this tension. And even this anxiety and fear that we did not realize we were holding into. As the right side of the body starts to recognize the warmth, starts to recognize that it is safe to come out from underneath. Where we have been shrinking away. As the light starts to spread and the warmth through the body starts to spread over to the left side of the body. Perhaps there is grief arising now as the body, as the light form begins to recognize just how much it has been hiding away. Because the journey thus far has been somewhat of a battle. The things we have had to tell ourselves, the things we have had to do in order to survive, not perhaps what we would feel to be true source alignment, and yet in order to exist here, many things were required of us that did not perhaps sit well. And so for this very first time, we are recognizing now just how much we have been holding inside. And it is expected that we may feel a bit tender, a bit vulnerable, a bit unsure in our footing and our next steps. And yet this period of time now is crucial that we nurture ourselves, that we speak into ourselves through the light, knowing what we have now learned, knowing what we are aware of, that we monitor our conscious streams of thought. Because this truly is a choice now, which direction we will continue. Will we turn back and go back to what we have always known, even though it has not brought us fulfillment? Or will we venture into the unknown? Where we are certain there is more than we could ever imagine. The unbounded light. This fruitful yield from our existence that we are bringing forth. This is a period of transition, a period of time for the human body, the human mind, to learn how to assert its consciousness. To learn that even though it may feel fear and anxiety from the residual energies that are surrounding, we can make different choices now. We can choose to step into the light by doing differently, by being differently than we have been allowed to do and be within this lifetime. Just start to bring in this light through the base of the fields, through these divine feminine aspects within us. Whether we are in a female body or a male body, or however we are choosing to identify, we hold both streams of consciousness, both energetic charges. To the source, spark. This omniversal source tone. Through the field of light, this flame order of being. And so as the repairs come in, let us also open to this clearing that is occurring in the lower density realms of the body. In order to release out, sometimes we will feel a resurgence of old energies, of old patterns, old fears, old programming. It is to know that these are being released out. So to not move into panic, not to collapse at the first sight of what may feel uncomfortable. Always return to your center point and ask, what is this? Where is this coming from? These next several months will feel as if we are trying to gain our footing, as the earth may seem to feel as if it is shifting beneath us. This is change on an incredibly grand scale that is moving forth now. Not only through the earth, but through our bodies. So to allow for this period of adjustment, retraining, if you will. What it means to be within our full power and the responsibility that we hold now within ourselves. In the past, there was a sense that we were able to skirt around the edges. We could cut corners. We were not feeling the full effects of being able to fully embody the light. But now we are being shown how diligent we must be. This is what we arrived here to do. It was not to create landing strips for spaceships, to bring in other beings, other energies. We have landed and arrived. And to remember that we have been conditioned to forget. We have been conditioned to play small. We have been conditioned to assimilate into the programs. So as we begin to release out this conditioning, as we begin to wake up to the memory of the truth of the light within our heart, the power that truly resides within us can be a bit alarming, can be a bit shocking. It can feel as if we have not even existed here until this moment. When we start to breathe in, we start to remember. It may even start to feel as if we have new sensations, new smells, new tones. Within us. Just allowing this to anchor in through the body, through the base of the form. And where this coincides into the earth planes. This dynamic potential. As you are seeding in through these foundational ranges of your base, here and now. It can feel a bit as if there is tugging and pulling through the lower extremities of your body in various different places. But to start to notice the difference between anchoring your light into your form and the pulling from these collective energies that wish to keep you tied to the density levels of distortion. These energies are occurring in the same areas. But it is for you to sift through and to notice what is what. What is the light that you are anchoring? In place of the programming that you are releasing. It will feel a bit as if they are colliding head on. And in many ways they are, as the light replaces what has previously kept us anchored into distortion. So fear not these collisions that you may be feeling within you. Step forward in the truth of who you are, who you have come to know yourself as. Holding fast to the truth of the light within your heart. As the light continues to build and adjust through you. And as always, we have enjoyed interacting in this way. We leave you with much peace, but still present here now. Namaste.